Hello my dear friends. So in this video we will watch the concept or learn the concept of matrix chain multiplication, which is also known as MCM in the short form. So in this video I am going to cover how we are going to identify MCM, what is the format of MCM, and we are also going to look at the recursive approach of the MCM. So basically MCM identification means where are you going to use the MCM concept. So it will, whenever you are going to watch the question, so if I tell you, sometimes I will tell you the few things. If you get those few things, the thing should struck at your mind that yes, we can use MCM concept here. Perfect. So let us use the identification. So in MCM there are few things given to us. Okay, either an array will be given to you or a string will be given to you. Any of the one thing will be given to you, and for that array or the string, okay, if you get the feeling that we need to do some partitions of this array or the string, in that situation you can use MCM concept. Okay, whenever you get the feeling that we should need to do the partitions and check the solution at every case, at that time you have to use the MCM concept. Okay, so suppose an array is given which have some starting point and which have some ending point, and you need to partition at k such that first block will be from I to k and the second will be from k plus 1 to j. Whenever you got this feeling that you need to do some partitions and then you need to compare, then you can get some temporary solutions. Okay, so if you do the partition from I to k and then k plus 1 to j, so in this situation you will get some temporary answer. Here also you are going to get some temporary answer, and with the help of these temporary answers you are going to reach your final answer. Perfect. So basically where you are going to use MCM, whenever an array or string is given and you got the feeling that we need to do some partitions and we need to get some temporary solution, and with the help of some those temporary solutions we are going to reach the final solution. Okay, so basically in an array it will start from I to j. Okay, then what we will do, we are going to use that from I to k, and then we are going to go from k plus 1 to j. So from here temporary solutions will be given, from here also we are going to get some temporary solution, and the final answer is going to be function of some temporary answer or solution. Okay, perfect. So this is the main thing of the MCM. Fine. Now suppose this is the starting point I, this is the ending point j, and which have some elements, right? So first of all, if you do the partitions from here, so here to here from I to k, and then from here to here from k plus 1 to j, this is the one partition which will give you some temporary solution. So once the partition is done from here, you can also do the partition from here. Okay, so partition from here to here and here to here, so it will be okay. This is the second partition possible. Okay, let us use one more color. You can also partition from here to here and then here to here. So like this a lot of partitions are possible, and you need the result of each partition to get the final answer. Okay, so partition is not just like you have to do from the midpoint or not. So from starting point to some value between I to j, you need all the partitions. At that time you can go for the MCM approach. Perfect. So I will give you the basic format of the MCM. Okay, basic format. This is just the format which will help you to reach your final solution, but it's not the actual solution, it's the basic format. You can say like it is like a backbone. Whenever you have to use the MCM concept, you have to go through all of the steps that I am going to tell you the now. So first of all I am going to use the Python syntax. So def, let's write the function name as solve, and we will get some array. I is the starting point and ending point. Now one more thing, starting point is not the first element of the array and ending point is not the last element of the array. I told you we will get some starting point and ending point. I not told you that first element is the starting point or the last element is the ending point. Okay, focus on my words. We will have some starting point and we will have some ending point. Starting point can be the first element of the array or the second elements of the array. Ending point can be the last element of the array or can be the second last element of the array. It will depend upon the question. But the basic format is that we will have some start point, start, and we will have some ending point. And we can do the partitions one by one also, means k is equal to k plus 1, and we can also do the partitions by leaving one element, k is equal to k plus 2. Every time the value is increasing, okay, we can also do the partition in this format. So for the here I am going to tell you the recursive approach. Okay, recursive basic format, recursive approach basic format. So you know that in recursive approach we should have the base condition. We should have the base condition. So let us take the same example that I given you now. So this is I, this is j. What I told you about the I, that it is the starting point and j is the ending point. So generally always j will be greater than I. Ending point will be always greater than the starting point. Now for base condition, what we have to think, we know that for base condition we have to think for the smallest valid input. What we have to think? Smallest valid input or smallest invalid input or smallest invalid input. Perfect. So for recursive solution you need to write the base condition, and for the base condition we have to think of the smallest valid input. So generally what is going to change? I told you I and j are the starting point and ending point. So starting point is always less than the ending point. Suppose if starting point is greater than the ending point, is it a valid situation? No, it's an invalid situation. So invalid situation will give us the smallest invalid situation will give us the base condition. So you will say that if starting point I is greater than the ending point, it means we have to return 0. Perfect. And this is just a format. Okay, this may change according to the question. I am just telling you format. First of all, how you have to think for solving the MCF question. Okay, then what I told you, we have to do the partitions. Okay, so we have to move this k from starting point to ending point. It means we have to use the for loop. Perfect. So for, let's say we are going to use a variable x in range of, I am writing the Python syntax. Perfect. You can write any other syntax as well. So it starts from I to j. Okay, right? And then we will do the partitions, and with the help of partitions I told you we are going to get some temporary answer. How we are going to get temporary answer? We are going to call the function array from I to k, and then we are going to call again the function array from k plus 1 to j. This I already explained you that first of all we have to do from here to here and then k plus 1 to j. So from starting point will be same, ending point will be k. Then starting point will become k plus 1, but ending point will become j. So from here we will get some temporary answer, and then the final answer is going to be some function of temporary answer. Okay, final answer is going to be some function of temporary answer. Fine. This is the recursive approach to solve the problem. So in Python we will have indentation. Okay, so if condition is also like this, and it is going to be indentation. Perfect. So this is the approach to solve the MCM question. Okay, so first of all, here is the base condition, and then we have to use the for loop to traverse for the value. Okay, so here it will be k, because k value is changing, not x. Okay, for k will start from I and it may go till j, and I am not saying that it will exactly start from I. This may also change. I just told you the basic format of the how to solve such problems. So let us take one problem. It will be much easier because you have got the basic format to solve the problems. So let us take one problem and it will be easier for us. Suppose an array is given to you with the elements. Let us take some example, easy example: 10, 30, 5, 60. Perfect. Elements are 10, 30 and 5 and 60. What this array represent? This array represent the dimension of the matrix. Now you are going to say, for the dimension of matrix, like we need the element 2 into 3, something like this. Okay, let A1 is 2 into 3. Then the dimension will be like this. We have 2 rows and 3 columns, something like this. So for the dimension we need at least 2 things, but how this is representing the dimension? So basically this A1 will have these two elements. The dimension of A1 will be 10 into 30. If I say you the dimension of A2, it is going to be 30 into 5. If I say you the dimension of 60, it is going to be 5 into 60. Perfect. Now let us do some observations. How many elements are there in the array? You are going to say that there are 4 elements in the array. And how many matrices are possible with this 4 element? 3 matrices we have got. It means if we generalize, if there are n elements in the array, how many matrices are possible? N minus 1. This is the first observation. Perfect. Because this is the dimension for the first one, this is the dimension for the second one, and this is the dimension of the third one. This is the first thing that we have observed till now. Okay, now this is A0. If you are going to do the indentation, this is the first element. We start from 0. This is A1, this is A2, and this is A3, right? So I can write like this: AI will be equals to AI minus 1 multiply by AI. Can I write like this? You say how? I told you put I is equal to 1. Put I is equal to 1. Okay, so A1 will be equals to 1 minus 1 will be A0. Sorry, let's say this not A, let's say this Mi. It will be a bit easier for us because M represent the matrix here. Or let us write A also. Let's write in the form of array. So AI will be equals to array of I minus 1 plus multiply by array of I. Now you are going to say how? I say put I is equal to 1. It will be array of 0 multiply by array of 1. Okay, now let us check this. A1, array of 0 is 10. Yes, 10. Multiply by array of 1 is 30. So you told that yes, it is correct. So we have done 2 observations. One observation is that if n elements are there, the matrices are n minus 1. And AI will be equals to array of I minus 1 into array of I. This is the second observation. Now tell me one thing. If I put I is equal to 0, if I put I equal to 0, what will happen? You are going to say that A0 will be array of minus 1 multiply by array of 0. Okay, now tell me, are you going to get any value of array of minus 1? Because array is starting with the 0, so there is no valid value for this one. So you got one thing, that we know that I is the starting point, but I cannot start with the first element. I told you na, I is the starting point. It is not the first element of the matrix array. So if you are going to choose I is equal to 0, you will get something which is not possible. Means array of minus 1 you In Python you can get array of -1 is 60. In Python -1s mean last element, but generally doesn't make any kind of sense, because if you are starting the indexing with 0, -1 means nothing. It means starting point is not going to be the first element of the matrix. But if you are going to start with 1, if you are going to start with a1, so what if you are going to put I is equal to 1 here in the same case? So you will get array of 0 into array of 1. So a1 is going to be array of 0. What was the array of 0? 10 into 30. And yes, this is right, because we have started from the first element only. It means starting point is going to be this first element, first index. Okay, now you need to similarly check for the last element also. I told you j is not the last element. You have to think of the end point. J is the end point, not the last element. So you have to think for the end point. So what is the size here? 3. So again put the value of I is 3. A3 will be equals to array of 2 multiply by array of 3. So array of 2 means 5 into 60. So is it A3 that we have written? Yes, it's correct. A3 is correct. It means J can be the last element of the array. Okay, so we got ending point, we got starting point, and we also got that how to write AI, and we got how many matrices are possible. So these are the few observations that we have done till now. Now let us do some more observations. Okay, an array is given to us with some elements. What are the elements? 10, 30, 5 and 60. These are some elements. Perfect. I told you that a1 is 10 into 30, a2 is 30 into 5, a3 is going to be 5 into 60. Perfect. Now I told you that we even the question I haven't told you, I just shown you some observations. So the question is like this: there are 3 possible matrices. You need to multiply in such a way that you can minimize the cost. You can minimize the cost. So how can be the multiplication possible? You can multiply a1 and a2 first, then you can multiply the solution of this with the a3. This is the one of the possible case. What can be the other possible case? You can multiply a2 and a3, then the result of a2 and a3 is going to be multiplied with the a1. So this is the other possible case. And in both the cases you are going to get the different cost, and what you have to do, you have to minimize that cost. Okay, so it is same thing, like first you perform these 2 operations, and after performing this operation you required less money. Okay, if we take the real life example, suppose you need to do 3 tasks, a1, a2 and a3. So if you perform a1 and a2 first, then a3, then suppose the cost is 100 rupees. But if you perform a2 and a3 first, then if you perform a1, the cost may be 60 rupees. So which way you will go? You will go by this way. Okay, because ultimately you need to minimize the cost. So think like real life example. Suppose there are multiple tasks. Suppose instead of 3 tasks, there are 4 tasks. Okay, this time there are 4 tasks. What are the 4 tasks? Let's say a1, a2, a3 and a4. And I told you to minimize the cost of the task. You can suppose, so what you are going to do? You are going to calculate, let us perform a1, a2 together, a3, a4 together, and then finally we will get the task. Suppose here you get the cost of 100 rupees. What can be the other possible case? You can say that we can try like this. First perform a2, a3, then result of a2, a3 will be done with a1, and then finally a4. This will suppose give you cost as 110. Okay, so again there are more possible tasks. You can perform these 3 tasks first, and first these 2, then these 3, then the final, and suppose this give you 60 rupees. So this 60 rupees you need to find. So you got that we have some task, we have to do some partitions such that we can minimize the cost. So you got one thing that we have to do the partitions. So you should get in your subconscious mind that yes, we have to do MCM here. Perfect, because the cost will be varying if you are going to perform some task. Now I will give you example how the cost will vary. Okay, so as of now we were talking theoretically. Now let's go some practical. 10, 30, 5, 60. So we have A1, A2, A3 and A4. 3 only possible. I told you now 4 are there, so matrices are going to be 3. Okay, so suppose if you perform A1 and A2 together, then A3. So how you are going to find the cost? So A1 will be 10 into 30, A2 will be 30 into 5. Okay, so we know that the thing which is coming twice, it should be calculated only once. So 10 into 30 into 5. This is going to be the cost to multiply A1 and A2. Okay, perfect. Now if you multiply A1 and A2, so what will be the dimension of A1 and A2? You are going to say that 10 into 5 is going to be the dimension of A1 and A2. This you have studied in the matrix chapter. I am expecting that you remember the class 12th concept. Now what is the dimension of A3? It is 5 into 60. Now if I want to find the cost of multiplying these two, you are going to say that it will be 10 into 5 into 60, because the thing which is coming twice, we have to take it only once. So this is going to be the cost if you are going to multiply A1, A2 first, then A3. Okay, so let us check what is the cost. So 10 and 5 are common, so it will be 30 plus 60. I have taken 50 and here you are going to get 90. So 9 5s are 45. So 4500 will be the cost if you are going to go first multiply A1, A2, then multiply with the A3. Perfect. Now you told that I am not going to go this way. First of all, I am going to multiply A2, A3, then I am going to multiply with the A1. So what is the cost to multiply A2, A3? So what is A2? A1 is 10 into 30, A2 is 30 into 5 and A3 is going to be 5 into 60. So 30 into 5 into, and here it is 5 into 60. So I told you this is the wave 1, W1 I am going to write. So W2 is this is W2 and this was W1. So cost is going to be 30 into 5 into 60. Okay. So if we have multiplied this, what will be the dimension become now? Dimension will become 30 into 60. And what is the dimension of A1? It is 10 into 30. Now if you are going to multiply these two, what will be the cost? I told you the cost will be the things which are coming, take them at once. Okay, this is going to be cost. Now let us see what are the things coming common. 30 into 60 is coming common, then 5 plus 10. So it is going to be 30 into 60 into 15. So it is going to be 15 threes are 45, 45 into 6. So basically what we are going to get, 45 into 6 is going to be 270. Okay, let me again do this. 30 into 60 is going to be 1800, multiply by 5 is going to be 2700. Please let me see whether I have done the calculations correctly or not. Okay, yes. So you have got the cost as 27,000. Perfect, because two zeros are there. Yes, perfect. So I think yes, I have done the calculation correctly. Okay, so here you got the cost as 4500 and here you got the cost 27,000. Are you getting it? 27,000. Oh yes, 27,000, correct. Perfect. And earlier also, let me check whether we have done the correct calculation or not. So 50 into 60, 3,000. Yes, earlier the calculation is correct, and here also I think the calculation is correct only. Yes, here you will get 9,000 and if you are going to multiply them 60 into 30 into 10, so you are going to get 18,000, then ultimately 27,000. So you got that if you perform the task in different way, the cost is going to be very high. So ultimately what you have to do, you have to perform the task in the way one. So to perform that task in the way one, you should know all the possible rates, and with the all the possible rates, what you are going to do, you are going to find the minimum. Okay, so ultimately our task was to minimize the cost. Okay, so you got everything that I explained, I got. Okay, so let us write the final function now, because we have done all our observation to write the final solution. So we are going to use def solve. Function name is solve. In Python we are using the def keyword to write the function. So we have starting point and ending point. Okay, so you got that starting point is going to be 1 here and ending point is going to be the last element of the array. Suppose the size of array is n, so I will be, you are going to send I as 1 and j as n minus 1. Then you need to write the if condition, that if I is greater than equal to j. Okay, so let us talk about the base condition of this question. So we have generally discussed the base condition, but for this question the base condition will be different. So earlier we have discussed that base condition is going to be I is greater than j. So suppose here the elements are there like this. What were the elements? 10. We are going to take the same example. It will be much easier to understand. 10, 35 and 60. Okay, suppose if this is the starting point I, let's say this is, we are not sure about starting and ending point, so I is always less than j. Okay, now what if there is only one element 10? Will it make any sense? You are going to say it is not going to make any sense. Why? Because here there is only one element, and for matrix dimension we need two elements, because I told you 10 into 30 is going to be the dimension of the first array. But if only one element is given in the array, then how you are going to find the dimension? It means starting point and ending point cannot be at the same place also. Starting point and ending point cannot be at the same place also. Starting point and ending point should be in this scenario. This is j and this is I. Means it should be less than equal to j. It means what will be the invalid input? If starting point will is greater than equal to ending point, then what we need to do? We need to return 0. This is the base condition that we have got. Perfect. Now again we have to use the for loop to find the partitions. Okay, so a1, a2, a3. So I told you first do partition, this will and this will, then do partition of this solution and this solution, and then we need to find the final solution. So for the final answer, let us write answer is equal to int max or int max. Okay, maximum integer here we have to write. Okay, then what you have to do, for k in range of I to j. Okay, so it will start from I. Okay, I am going to write the general syntax, so all will get understand. For k is equal to I, k is less than equal to j minus 1 and k plus plus. Okay, in Python we are using the for loop, but it was a quite difficult, so I am just explaining you the concept here. So like this you are going to write the for loop. Perfect. So its k will start from I and it can go till last element. Okay, so how you got to know this? By doing the partitions. Perfect. Now temporary answer is going to have, what you need to do, we have to call this function by passing till k, then we need to call this function by passing from k plus 1 to j. This is done. So what these two functions are doing, let me tell you again. These two functions are doing like this. Suppose we have three elements A, B and C. Okay, we have done partition here K. So it will do it will solve this case and this case. So first one, what we suppose, let's say have 4 elements, it will be bit easier, A, B, C, D. So we have done partition like this. So it will give, first solve will give from I to K, this is K. Suppose this is S1 and this is S2. So this one is the S1 result and this is the S2 result. So now tell me, is the question completed? No. You should also solve these two elements, because S1 is doing calculation for this, S2 is doing calculation for this part, but the calculation for S1 and S2 is still pending. Okay, are you getting my point? It means we have to do some calculation for S1 and S2 also. Again, let us see how we are going to do that. Perfect. So let us take that example again. Suppose A, B, C, D are there. So elements are going to be like this, A, B, C, D. This is, let's say, A1, this is B1, and then we need to multiply A1 into B1 finally. Okay, so first of all, let's say A is 40 into 20, B is 20 into 30. Elements are like this, 40, 20, 30 and 10. These are the elements in the array. Okay, so what will be the A1? 40 into 20, 40 into 20 into 30, and we are going to find B1. So B1 is going to be 20 into 30, then 30 into 10, so it is going to be 10 into 30 into 10. So this is the solution of A1 and this is the solution of B1. Okay, then we are adding them. Now what will be the final solution? Final solution, that what will be this 40 into 30 is going to be the matrix. Okay, 40 into 30, and here what will going to be matrix? 10 into 20 into 10. I think I done some mistake. I have randomly chosen the elements. Okay, C is going to be 20 into 10, 10 into, perfect. Yes, correct. So what is going to be the dimension of this? Here it is 40 into 20, 20 into 30, so dimension is going to be 40 into 30, perfect. Here it is going to be 30 into 10. Okay, so I done some mistake. C is going to be 30 into 10 and 10 into 30. Okay, so like this elements are there. So nothing, just 10 into 30 and then 30 into 10 into 30. Perfect. So sorry guys, I just got some confused because 4 matrices are there, so 5 elements should be there. I just missed writing one element, that's why I got confused. So A1 is this 40 into 20, B is 20 into 30, C is going to be 30 into 10, and D is going to be 10 into 30. So what will be the final? 30 into 30, 30 into 30. So it is going to be 40 into 30. Final is going to be, dimension is 40 into 30. Perfect. But to find the cost of the final, what is going to be happen? 40 into 30 into 30. So 40 is the AI, I can say first element. Okay, I is here and J is here. So what is 40? A of I minus 1. So it is array of I minus 1 multiply by, what is this 30? 30 is going to be array of K, where we have done the partition, because we have done the partition like this na, that AB is going to do the partition with the CD, right? So it is array of K, and what is this last 30? It is the J. It is going to be multiplied with array of J. Perfect. So this is the cost that is going to be added here, that is array of I minus 1 multiply by array of K multiply by array of J. Okay, this is going to be the temporary answer. Now we need to compare this temporary answer with the final answer. Perfect. So how we are going to do this? We are going to do this that if our answer, that the variable we have assumed, is greater than the temporary answer. Okay, if our answer that we assumed is greater than the temporary answer, then what we are going to do, we are going to update the answer by temporary answer. Okay, so like this we will always initialize our, always update our answer, and at the end what we are going to do, we are going to return the answer once answer. This answer, this is outside the for loop. Okay, this condition will be inside for loop, and then at the end we are going to return the answer. So these were some steps to solve the MCM problem with the recursive approach. Okay, now in the next video I will tell you the top down approach. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Do let me know if I have done any mistake. At end I got just little bit confused because I missed one element, but I hope I tried to make everything as easy as possible for you. So if you like the video, please let me know in the comment section. If I need to do some improvements, please let me know in the comment section, and you can share this video with your friends. And if you are new to the channel, do subscribe. I will try to upload a video every day that will help you to clear all your concepts. Okay, bye bye, thank you.